Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're going to build a toolkit. And no, I'm not talking about one for fixing a leaky faucet, but one for completely rewiring how you approach challenges, how you interact with people, and ultimately, how you build a more successful life and career. And we're going to start with the most important tool you'll ever have, your own mind.
Have you ever wondered about that? What really separates the people who seem to thrive from those who just kind of get by? Is it just raw talent, some kind of success gene they were born with? Not at all. It's about having the right mental tools. And today, we're going to open up that toolbox and look at each one so you can start putting them to work right away. All right, here's our game plan. We're going to start with the absolute foundation, the mindset that shapes pretty much everything else. Then, we'll get into the tools for building connections with other people, emotional intelligence, and communication. And finally, we'll see how you can put this whole toolkit together to really succeed inside any workplace. Okay, first up, let's talk about the single most powerful tool you have, and that's your mindset. Now, this isn't about, just thinking positive all the time. It's about a fundamental shift in how you look at challenges, how you view effort, and maybe most importantly, how you see failure. This right here, this is the core idea. Instead of seeing a setback as a dead end, think of it more like a detour, one that's actually showing you a better way to get where you're going. Every single failure is just a piece of data. It's a lesson that's pointing you toward a better strategy for the next time around. So that sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually apply it? Well, it all comes down to two totally different ways of thinking that a lot of the time control how we act when we're faced with a real challenge. And here's where we see the big divide. So on one side, you've got performance goals. This is all about looking smart, avoiding failure at all costs. But on the other side, you have learning goals. And this is about actually getting smarter, even if it means you look a little clumsy while you're figuring things out. And look, this isn't just some feel-good idea. It's actually backed by decades of incredible research from a Stanford psychologist named Dr. Carol Dweck. And she gave these two approaches really powerful names: the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset. Just look at the difference here. It's night and day. Someone with a fixed mindset sees a challenge and thinks, oh, risk of failure, better avoid that. But the growth mindset sees that exact same challenge and thinks, awesome, an opportunity to learn something new. One of these paths leads to staying stuck, and the other one leads to mastery. So you got to ask yourself, which path do you find yourself on most often? And this is the kicker right here. Just believing that you can improve, that your abilities can change, makes you way more likely to do the things that will actually make you improve. See how that works? Your mindset isn't just a mood, it's what drives your actions. Okay, so think of the growth mindset as your internal operating system. Now it's time to install some apps for dealing with the outside world. This is all about taking that internal belief and using it to build stronger, better relationships with other people. And the first tool we're going to add is emotional intelligence, or EI for short. Now, this isn't about being overly emotional, not at all. It's about being smart with your emotions. It's being able to recognize, hey, I'm feeling stressed before this big presentation, and then using that awareness to calm yourself down and really connect with your audience. The cool thing is, just like any other skill, you can actually measure your EI, and more importantly, you can get better at it. So, want to get a quick snapshot of where you stand right now? So go ahead, grab your phone and scan this QR code. It'll take you to a great little quiz from UC Berkeley's Greater Good Science Center. Just pause the explainer here for a minute, find out your EI profile, and we'll jump right back in. Welcome back. So no matter what your score was, the big thing to remember is that EI is something you can absolutely work on and improve. It all rests on these 5 pillars. It starts with self-awareness. Just noticing, hey, what am I feeling right now? Then you've got self-regulation, which is deciding what to do with that feeling. And from there, it moves outward to things like empathy, really understanding what other people are feeling. These are the building blocks you can work on every single day. Okay, so once you start to get a handle on emotions, the next tool in our kit is all about getting your ideas across clearly, and that leads us to communication. And the real secret here is realizing that what's perfectly clear to you might be totally confusing to someone else, all because we have different ways of communicating. The first step to becoming a great communicator is understanding your own natural style. How do you prefer to give and receive information? So let's figure that out. So you ready to find out? Go ahead and scan this code for another quick quiz. This one's from Leadership IQ. Pause here if you want, and we'll break down the 4 styles as soon as you get back. Okay, so which one were you? Are you an analytical who just wants the cold, hard data? Or maybe an intuitive who's all about the big picture? But here's the secret. The real magic isn't just knowing your own style. It's being able to spot the style of the person you're talking to and adapting to them. If you're talking to a functional person, give them a step-by-step plan. If it's a personal communicator, ask them how they feel about the idea. That's how you make a real connection. All right, so you've got your personal toolkit all packed. You have a growth mindset, you're working on your EI, you understand communication styles. But how does this all work in the real world when you're part of a team, a department, a whole company? Let's zoom out and take a look. This is where we get into something called organizational behavior, or OB for short. Basically, you can think of it as the psychology of the workplace. It's the science behind what makes teams work well together, what makes meetings effective, and it's like a user's manual for navigating any organization you're a part of. And a really simple way to think about it is in 3 levels. It all starts with the individual. That's you, with your mindset and skills. But everything you do has a ripple effect on the group, your team. And that team is operating inside the much larger organization, the company itself, with its unique culture. The point is, real change always starts at the individual level. And this is where it all comes together beautifully. Your growth mindset is what helps you succeed individually. Your emotional intelligence and communication skills let you influence and lead your group. You see, these aren't just random, separate tools. They're all interconnected. They're the engine that's going to power your success at every single level. When it's all said and done, every single tool we've talked about today is built on this one simple but incredibly powerful idea. You are not static. You're not a finished product. Your abilities, your intelligence, your talents, they aren't carved in stone. They can grow through learning.